Hey everybody, this is Jay Martin. Thanks for watching. And got a little 3v3 for you in Syrian Ridge. I'm going to try to do more non-grassy flatlands maps. And what was happening is me and some of the Huntsman guys were hanging out. And we're like, hey, let's do a 3v3, but let's do something fun. Let's do something fun. So I'm the Ottoman guy here on the right. That's me, I'm Jay Martin. And in the middle is Krasnikov. And over on the left side, that's Leonidas. And so it's the three of us on Syrian Ridge. And let me see if I can get our opponents to spawn. I have, I think, a couple interesting tips to share with y'all. And a couple of them more like on the micro tactical sense, and a couple on the sort of big picture sense. Oh, and here we go. And if I remember this correctly, I might get these names mixed up a little bit, or who's who, but playing as the GB player over there is Bettis, who wears the tags GR and SPA. And I might get this backwards. I'm not really sure. I know who the three people are, but I'm not entirely sure what their positions are. In the middle, I believe, is a dude named Rouflaquette, a French word that I'm horribly mispronouncing. And over on the far left side, facing Leonidas, is probably a guy named Yi Sun Shin, who wears the tag RM. But I might be getting this backwards, so sorry guys if I'm doing that. So what happens to begin the game is Kraz in the middle here. He's playing his not completely all-in Russian melee build, but he's bringing a pretty dedicated Russian melee build. And because this map has the heat fatigue effect, both Leonidas and I have decided to bring Ottomans. And what's kind of interesting about my position on this map is this lake right here in the middle. So there's a ridge here, and then the sort of middle of the map occurs, but there's this bizarre lake sort of separating it. That becomes important. You'll notice immediately Kraz's opponent sort of moves this direction, and what happens is these two players sort of join up to form a front sort of right here against Kraz in the middle. I'm going to get back to that in a little bit, because I want to talk about what Leonidas has got going on. Leonidas' opponent is playing as United Netherlands. Props to you, dude, for playing, the Dutch. Don't see them very often. But he's sort of making a couple sort of mistakes. He's got some Jaegers out in front, but he's conceded the hill to Leonidas, and he like randomly has his cav back there, and his lime tree is not supporting his lights. You really want your line of tree behind your lights, and although these Jaegers here have a theoretical distance advantage, 125 versus Leonidas's 100s, what Leonidas is going to be able to do is get on the hill and use the range advantage given by the hill to pretty good effect. And pretty much, I'm not going to come back here that often, but pretty much all Leonidas has to do is sit on this hill and shoot down at this guy, and that's going to go pretty good for Leonidas. So, if you let your opponent get a hill advantage, don't sit up there and engage him. I think a better move for the Dutch player would have been to pull back. Okay, back on our side. What has happened is you notice the British player has moved to this side of the lake to sort of theoretically double team on Krasnikov in the middle. And so the French and the British player have both moved to this side of the lake. Well, we talked a little bit, and I was like, well, Kraz, and we agreed, why don't you just hang... And again, they've surrendered the hill. So Krasnikov can just sit on the hill, and he's also got this great forest to hide in. And I was like, well, this guy's going to let me flank him, so if we just sort of be patient, then I can walk my guys over. So the sort of big picture strategical sense here is that the Brit guy has conceded the flank to me, and eventually what's going to happen in this battle is I just wrap around their flank, and Kraz is going to just hold in the middle, which he actually needs to do because you can see his guy right there is very tired, or I hope you can see that if the resolution's good enough, but Kraz ran up the hill, and so his troops are very tired. He needs to let his troops rest anyway. I think if I was these two players, now what they have done well is they successfully moved both their armies sort of in striking range of one player. They've kind of got a double team going on, but what you'll notice is they don't do anything, right? They just fucking sit there. And while they're doing that, um, my biggest problem was moving my troops into position around the side here. While they're not attacking, while they're sitting there, that gives me time to complete my encirclement. Is sort of what's going on over here. Let me back over here to show you what Leonidas is doing. This guy sends a cav charge in. Leonidas retreats his lights, forms square. This cav charge isn't going to do anything. This guy has moved his line infantry up, but you know, I mean, Leo's got the hill, and these folks, are willing to sit away from the hill and let Leo shoot him. And like this guy doesn't move much or anything. Like, if you're in this position, pull back, make Leo come off the hill, maybe engage him on even terms. Um, but that doesn't happen, and Leo's game is actually really boring because all he does really is shoot this guy in the hill. I mean, that's all he does. And this goes on for a couple minutes until either A, Leo runs out of bullets, or the other guy runs out of men. Which is going to happen first is sort of the real question. And, we probably all get the answer to that. So back over here, Kraz is still waiting for his guys to get healthy. There's the French guy sends a bunch of cav over my direction, but we get into square for it, so it doesn't really do much. And you can see that I'm continuing my envelopment on this side, and Kraz is doing the right thing. He's just being really patient, waiting for the right time to strike. And I want to point this out. Kraz loves melee. Where are they? Somewhere in here. Where are they? Where are they? Oh, there they are. Look at this. He loves grenadiers. He loves them. Those are grenadiers with 3 chevrons, and then the Pavlok grenadiers, whatever they're called, the super unique grenadier unit. Anyway, he's gonna do some serious damage with some grenadiers later. Anyway, the Brit guy had charged me with his cav, and we rout both of them, and I'm on this guy's flank pretty good, and I'm starting to turn that guy's flank. I think Kraz actually starts his assault. Yeah, Kraz starts an assault right about now. He brings his meat shields down, and he's just hiding the force, man. Forests are huge, huge bonuses for you when you're defending. And I'm going to click in a fast forward here. I want to make sure to get this. Leo on his side is, again, just playing a really simple game. He's got his bazookas going in for melee work right now. But he has this huge hill advantage. And what you can do when you're on a hill, he's doing an interesting tactic that maybe not everyone knows. But when you have a slope, what you can do is actually put, your 2 infantry units behind each other will be able to shoot over each other's backs really easily. These are light infantry, so they're able to do that anyway. But theoretically, when you're on a slope like this, Leo could double, even triple up his firepower if he wanted. So slopes are bad. If your opponent has a slope, don't stand there. And I think this guy comes in for a series of melee charges or something. Attacking uphill, just not really the way to do it. Anyway, so Leo's taking care of his guy pretty good. Back over on our side, Kraz has got his melee thing going on, and he kind of has a problem here because there's still a bunch of the GB units in his rear, and he's really counting on me to get my encirclement going. And if you look at this map from my perspective, I'm just trying to get my units into position. It's taken me a long time to move around that side, but I'm trying to do that for him. And where are the grenadiers? Oh, look at those grenadiers. Look at them go. Grenadier Pavlok, regular, and these grenadiers are going to get in there and do some damage. I think there was actually a thread on the TW Center forums like Grenadiers completely suck, and yeah, they do kind of completely suck, but Krasnikov has found a way to use them, and he loves using them in melee. He thinks they're really good. Um, the Brit guy sort of blind charges me. He's at least moving up infantry to support these charges. Um, I think maybe he arguably stays engaged a bit longer than he should. But these, I get into square okay just fine, and I'm moving infantry up to support these dudes. The brick guy is like half dead at this point, so really we're just trying to get in there and I'm trying to finish him off. And there is a danger for me here if all of this infantry is able to shoot up my squared infantry before I can get out of square and reform my line. But I think I pull out of this pretty good, or pretty easily. And I still have a bunch of light infantry. I'm about to send Cav into this guy's rear, and he has, some random units that I'm able to hit pretty well. Back on Kraz's side, let me zoom up so you get the big picture. So over there, Leo is finishing off the Netherlands guy. I'm encircling the Brit guy. And in the middle, Kraz is doing some work. He's just going full melee with those Russians. And you'll notice that I think that's Leo's unit. Leo's got a unit shooting in the back of the French. So Leo was able to give some support. And these three Cav units are actually Leonidas's, and he had got those over really early. And these really hooked up Kraz's charge because they were the sort of the hammer on the anvil. He was able to charge in the backs of the French player while Kraz's Russian guys were engaged in melee. Is what's going on. And over here I get a little bit of cav work in, but I have a huge firepower advantage now. And I think actually what's going to happen, let me slow down to play. Just let me brag a little bit. See this mounted rifle right there? Mounted credit? Set it, excuse me. I think that unit's going to rout. That was like the first unit the only unit I had rout the whole game. So I kind of got lucky. My kills weren't really good this game because the other guys did a lot of the work, but I played a good defensive, a little more cautious battle, I think. But what's happened is, with the benefit of the Ottoman Cav and Leonidas, Kraz is completely broken through. Actually, he has a massive quantity of units still looking for people to eat. And I'm finishing off the British guy right now. Leonidas over here is finishing off the Dutch guy. And that was our match that we played earlier today in Syrian Ridge. This is kind of a fun map. It's kind of interesting. I think even if you don't take the hill, you have a lot of possibilities that you can use. So anyway, I want to say good game to the guys that we played against. Bettis of GR and SPA, and Ruflaket and Yisun Shun of RM. Had a great game playing with you, and thanks to my buds in Huntsman, Krasnikov, and Leonidas. It was a pleasure. And thanks for watching. If you get bored, you should upload a replay to twreplays.com.